Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Today I am going to recap and explain the last episode from the Wheel of Time series. Episode 8 starts with a flashback from the Age of Legends some 3,000 years ago. Here we see Luz Theron Telamon, the Dragon Reborn, and Latra Decuum, the Amerlin Seat discussing. They were the leaders of male and female Aes Sedais. During this age, human civilization was technologically advanced. Here males and females both were capable of channeling the One Power without any side effects. In this Age of Legends, Aes Sedais, researchers discovered a region of the pattern that appeared to be an undivided source of the One Power separate from the true source. Initial research suggested that this energy could be used by either gender without any limitation. They attempted to access it by boring a hole into it. Later they discovered that this energy source was actually the prison of Dark One. They called the resulting hole the Bore. Although it didn't allow the Dark One to escape the prison, it did allow him to influence the world. Over the next 100 or so years, which was better known as the War of Power Time, the influence of Dark One grew like a virus. It changed the status quo. With time people turned to the shadow, openly declaring their loyal allegiance to the Dark One, and rose up against the existing order. 13 Forshakens emerged. These were the followers of the shadow who can channel the One Power. During the War of Power there were dozens of Forsaken leading the armies of the shadow. Here Luz was proposing a plan to imprison the Dark One and his Forsaken by permanently sealing his prison. He was certain that his plan was solid, and it can be done. But Latra disagreed with him. She said his plan is not perfect, it will result in chaos. She cautioned him of the risk of exposing the One Power to the Dark One. He could easily corrupt the male side of the One Power. Hence she and her female Aes Sedais opposed it openly. But as we know, Luz in his ego went ahead with his plan. He went to the Dark One's prison with his followers and sealed the hole a little. He imprisoned the 13 Forsaken as well. But he was not fully successful, the hole was not sealed completely. The Dark One corrupted his mind. He and all the male channelers went mad, they broke the world with their power. They created genocide, crimes, and war which lasted 100 years. Later all female Aes Sedais brought order to the world by gentling every male channeler. This event pushed human civilization into oblivion. The knowledge and the progress were destroyed. The Dark One power grew even more. When finally Dark One freed Luz from his madness, to show him what he had done. Luz was horrified, he had killed his wife and kids in madness. Hence in guilt, Luz committed suicide by channeling gigantic One Power at Dragon Mount. This was at the end of the Second Age. The current story is at the end of the Third Age. Back at the Blight, Rand and the Moiraine were traveling for hours. There they saw many dead bodies. Some foolish boys from Fal Dara used to judge their fate by walking into this blight. Many of them mostly died here. Rand saw the city of Malkier, the home of Lon. It was consumed by the blight 40 years ago. It was a flourishing city, but now it has perished. Every year the blight was progressing. Now it was at the border of Far Dara. The prison of the Dark One was at the center of this blight. No one has ever seen that since the Age of Legends. After some time Moiraine and Rand stopped at a place for rest. Back in the city Egwene was crying. She was desperate to find Rand but she was helpless. Perion consoled her. Nynaeve told Lon that she could track Moiraine. She did the same when they were in Shadar Log Off. Here Lon and Nynaeve were getting closer. But Lon was worried about Moiraine. He asked Nynaeve's help. Back at the Blight, Rand woke up with a nightmare. Moiraine asked him what was that. She asked him to describe his dream. Suddenly someone poked a sword in her mouth and she died instantly. The Dark One was behind her, he had glowing eyes. Rand quickly threw an arrow at him, but it didn't do any harm to him. The Dark One changed his face and took a human form. He was here to pursue Rand to change his mind. He said, "You came alone, last time you came with 99 Aes Sedais yet still you failed." Rand was visibly in panic mode. He sensed that this was all his dream. Hence to come out of it he stabbed himself with the sword. As he did that he woke up in the real world. This time Moiraine again asked him what he saw. What did the Dark One say? Rand replied by saying, "I don't believe whatever he says." Later these two started moving again. Rand asked her what was her plan. What he is supposed to do when they reach the prison of the Dark One. Moiraine gave him a small statue called Sangreal and said, 3,000 years ago all the male channelers put their entire strength into this. When you reach the prison you must channel your energy into this. This will increase your energy by 100 folds. With this much energy, you can seal the Dark One's prison. This will hold the Dark One for another 3,000 years. And then this cycle continues. Back in the city, Nynaeve and Egwene were hearing the wind. They heard lots of noise just like the ones they heard in Two Rivers just before the trolls' attack. This time it was loud. Egwene was horrified. Later these two, Perrin and Loial, went to the bar to meet Min. Egwene asked her what she saw in Rand's future. Min refused the answer by saying she maintains privacy. Suddenly there she saw glimpses of everyone's future. There everyone was screaming and shouting in pain. She saw Nynaeve's death. Suddenly the war horn started blowing in the city. 5 to 10 thousands of Trollocs were at the border of Far Dara to attack. They have never seen this many in their living life. King Agelmar ordered everyone to ready for the battle. This will be the deciding one for this city for sure. Rand and Moiraine arrived at the prison of the Dark One. This was a gigantic well with many steep steps. Soon Rand started feeling something here. He recognized this place. Moiraine told him that the Dark One's friends have erased everything related to this place from the libraries of the White Tower. No one has ever seen it before. Rand remembered what Moiraine told him yesterday. Those who were not the Dragon Reborn will die if they come here. Hence he asked her to stay out. But the Moiraine was adamant she moved ahead, as she can't risk Rand falling for the dark. When they reached the bottom of the well there was a big symbol representing both sides of one power. Rand started seeing the glimpses from his past. He saw Lua standing there. As soon as he touched the site inside of the symbol he was transported into a different reality. He was in his house back at the Two Rivers. Egwene was his wife and they had a child. They were happy. Rand was confused whether this was real or an illusion. He asked a secret question to Egwene which only she can answer. Egwene answered it correctly, so Rand assumed that this place was real. He was back from the Eye of the World and living happily ever after. But basically, this was the trick of the Dark One to convince Rand to be on his side. In reality, Rand was lying unconscious at that symbol. That illusion was going on in his mind. As soon as Moiraine tried to use her power, the Dark One presented himself in front of her. He stopped her and took her one power away from her. She was shivered from the one power just like the Red Odges used to do with men. Lon was moving in the Blight. He was searching Moiraine and Rand. Back in the city, the Trollocs were the gate of Far Dara. They gathered near a small gap surrounded by a mountain. King and his sister, Lady Amalisa, knew that they can't make it out tonight. They ordered every woman, child, and old person to leave the city. Everyone started leaving the city. We see Min leaving. The king was fighting from the front. He told everyone to fight for the last breath. Lady Amalisa ordered every woman who can channel the one power to be ready to fight. Here Nynaeve and Egwene were called for assistance. They agreed to assist. Back at the prison the Dark One now appeared in Rand's vision. He stopped that reality and said, "Those Aes Sedai have lied to you. You don't know what you are. You don't know your true powers. You can make the world the way you want. You can free the world from the clutches of the wheel. You can make your own reality. I will help you to do whatever you want. If you want her to be your wife then you can have it. We can together change the world." As Rand was listening to him the one power started flowing into him. Moiraine had her knife at Rand's neck. If he doesn't choose the light then she was going to kill him. Finally, Fade and Trollocs attacked the Far Dara. King Agelmar and his army fight back. Perrin was getting agitated as he was left alone to do nothing. All his friends were in danger, but he was relatively safe. Loial took him to a group of soldiers who were digging beneath the king's throne. Beneath the king's throne lied an artifact called the Horn of Valir. This was the horn to call the mightiest warriors and heroes of light. Whenever the Dragon Reborn sounds this horn he gets help. Here we see Pedon Fain arriving at the castle. He was on the Dark One's side. He uttered a password which allowed him and his forces to enter the castle. He killed many on his way, and he was here to grab that horn. Finally, the Trollocs climbed the wall and killed King Agelmar. At night Lady Amalisa channeled the one power. She asked Rest to join her. Nynaeve, Egwene attached their forces to her. Rand's one power was now fully active. He also realized the trick of the Dark One. He told him, "What I want doesn't matter, this woman is not my Egwene. My Egwene wanted to be wisdom. Wisdom never weds." Rand came out of his illusion and channeled all his one power into the Sangreal, which increased his power by many folds. The Dark One disappeared at the sight of this huge light. Lady Amalisa channeled one huge gigantic one power. With one shot she killed many thousands of Trollocs. But it started burning her and everyone. She was out of control. Nynaeve sensed that Egwene won't be able to make it. She used her power to heal her and took her load. This made Egwene heal, but Nynaeve and Lady Amalisa died due to excessive use of one power. At the castle, Paden Fane killed everyone, loyal soldiers, everyone. He took the horn from them. Perion was alive. He was shocked and confused. Why the hell this sweet little peddler whom he knew from his childhood would do such a thing? Pedon explained it. He says, "I was always on my lord's side. I used to come to that shitty town every year to check upon you five. Rand may be the dragon reborn, but all five of you are Tavern. All five of you are the focal points of the wheel. At every age, the wheel chose one or two. But at this age, there are five and all in one village. We sent the Trollocs to your village to pursue some of you to our side. Balance is a must in the world. In the universe of the Wheel of Time, the entire existence, past, present and future, are created by the weaving of all lives. This is called the pattern. When the Wheel of Time needs to mend or realign the pattern, it creates Tavern, bending a person's life thread in such a way that all surrounding threads are forced to swirl around it. This creates a ripple effect across the pattern, making the person a focal point in the weave. People who are Tavern find themselves at the center of strange and improbable events, both good and bad. Perion in panic took up an axe. He forget the way of the leaf. Pedon spared Perion as he had the bigger role to play in the grand plan of the Dark One. Rand felt the madness attached with the one power. He asked Moiraine to tell everyone that he died here, as there is a possibility that he may kill his friends in his madness. Moiraine technically can't lie, but she agreed. Rand went away from there on his own to set his life. After some time, Lon arrived here and Moiraine explained everything to him. She showed him Quendalar Stone. This was a very rare stone used to absorb everything, including the one power. Hence the Dark One's prison was made up of this object. But now it got shattered, which clearly suggests the Dark One prison was weaker than before. So let me tell you what's going on here. This guy is not the Dark One, he is one of his 13 Forsaken. What Moiraine told Rand to do was not sufficient. The Dark One was not gone, this was not the last battle. At the end of it, all Moiraine was powerless. Egwene tried everything to revive Nynaeve, but it seemed she was gone. Hence she started crying in desperation. In her hopeless situation, somehow the one power started flowing from her. It revived Nynaeve and she was alive again. Mat was back in his possessed state. He seemed to have slid into the dark side unknowingly. Or knowingly. The last scene opens at the far end of the western shore, where a little girl was playing at the shore. An army filled with enslaved female channelers were on multiple ships. This army belonged to a foreign conqueror, Shang Chong, who had the intention to conquer this land. He ordered the attack, hence channelers created a gigantic tsunami. Moiraine's boss from Blue Aja hinted at this in episode 6. With this the episode 8 ends. So this was the ending of the Wheel of Time series. If you compare it to the books, then it's a letdown from all angles. But if you are someone who had never read the books, then you can enjoy this series. Overall, it's an okay show. Hopefully, season 2 would be better. Hope you liked the video. Please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. Take care.